Have you ever looked back and thought the signs were there? We just didn't know what to look for. It's something I hear often from people who've recently lost a loved one. Most of us assume that when someone passes away in old age, it just happens. One day they're here and the next they're gone, but the truth, it's rarely that sudden. The human body, especially in its later years, has a way of speaking to us. It gives subtle, quiet signals. Not in dramatic ways, but through small changes. A little less energy here, a slight loss of appetite there. Changes so gentle, they're easy to ignore or explain away, and that's exactly the problem. By the time these signs become clear, it's often too late to prepare, too late to have the conversations we meant to have, too late to share those final precious memories that truly matter. You see, what if we didn't have to wait for a crisis to pay attention? What if we could start recognizing the quiet ways the body lets us know it's preparing for its final season? That's why this video is so important. Today, I'm going to walk with you through 6 often overlooked signs that may show up in the final year of an elderly person's life. These signs aren't meant to scare you. They're not about creating fear or worrying. They're about giving you clarity, giving you time. And most importantly, giving your loved one comfort, dignity, and peace. I know this can be a sensitive topic. None of us want to imagine our parents, grandparents, or partners reaching the end of their lives. But knowing what to expect, knowing what to look for can be the difference between panic and peace, between regret and readiness. So whether you're a caregiver, a son or daughter, a neighbor, or just someone who deeply cares, this video is for you. It's for everyone who wants to be more present, more compassionate, and more prepared in one of life's most delicate moments. And as we go through these signs together, I encourage you to reflect. Maybe you'll recognize one of these signs in someone you love. Maybe you'll even see them in yourself, and if you do, don't run from it. Lean in with love. Ask the gentle questions. Make space for tenderness, because when we stop ignoring the signs, we start making room for what truly matters. So let's begin one step at a time. And if you find this kind of content helpful, if it brings you clarity, comfort, or even a sense of calm, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell. Your support helps us keep creating thoughtful, compassionate content like this to serve families just like yours. Let's get started. Let's start with one of the earliest and often most overlooked signs, unintentional weight loss. Now, we all lose a little weight here and there, right? Maybe it's from stress, a change in diet, or a new medication. But when someone in their 70s or 80s begins to lose weight without trying, especially over several weeks or months, it can be one of the body's quietest but clearest warning signals. You might notice it in small ways at first. Their favorite pants suddenly hang looser. Their wedding ring slips more easily off the finger. You ask if they're eating well and they brush it off. "Oh, I'm just not that hungry lately." Sound familiar? But here's the thing. Weight loss in older adults isn't just about the number on the scale. It's about what's happening beneath the surface. As we age, the body naturally begins to slow down. But when weight starts dropping rapidly, it's often because the body is no longer processing nutrients the way it used to. Muscles begin to shrink, the immune system weakens, and energy levels drop. Think about it. Muscle isn't just for strength, it's our foundation for mobility, balance, and even protection against illness. So when muscle mass fades, the risk of falls increases. Recovery from small infections takes longer, and everyday tasks suddenly feel harder. There's also a deeper layer to this. Appetite fades not just from age, but from biology. The body, in its own quiet wisdom, starts to shut down systems that aren't essential. Food doesn't taste the same anymore. Meals feel more like chores. Some seniors even skip eating altogether, not out of choice, but because their body no longer tells them it's time to eat. It can be heartbreaking to watch. As family, we want to help. We bring their favorite meals. We sit with them at dinner. We try protein shakes and snacks, but sometimes, no matter how much love we pour in, the appetite doesn't return. And when that happens, it's important to understand it's not your fault. And it's not something to fix, it's something to gently care for. Instead of pushing food, shift the focus. Offer small portions of easy-to-swallow comforting foods. Encourage hydration. Make meal times peaceful and pressure-free. Sometimes just sitting beside them with a cup of tea is enough. Recognizing unintentional weight loss as a potential sign of the body preparing for its final phase can be hard, but it also gives us a chance to respond with more compassion and presence. And if you're noticing this change in someone you love, you're not alone. It doesn't mean giving up. It means showing up with softness, with understanding, and with peace. If this resonates with you, if you've seen this shift in your parent, your grandparent, or someone close to you, I invite you to subscribe to this channel. We're here to walk beside you with knowledge, compassion, and support as you care for those who once cared for you. Let's keep moving gently together. Now let's talk about something that many families notice but few truly understand: extreme fatigue and weakness in an elderly loved one. This isn't just the kind of tiredness we feel after a long day. It's not something a good night's sleep can fix. It's a deep, ongoing exhaustion, one that seeps into every part of daily life. You might start seeing it in the little things. Maybe your dad, who used to water the garden every morning, now stays in bed until noon. Maybe your grandmother, who once loved cooking Sunday dinner, can barely make it to the kitchen anymore. Even getting dressed, brushing teeth, or walking across the room suddenly becomes too much. And you wonder, are they just being lazy? Should I push them to move more? But the truth is, this kind of fatigue often isn't about willpower, it's about biology. As the body prepares for its final chapter, it begins to conserve energy. The heart doesn't pump as strongly. Circulation slows, muscles receive less oxygen. And so the body wisely shifts gears, away from activity and toward preservation. What does that look like in real life? Long naps during the day. Difficulty staying awake during conversations. Moments of alertness that quickly fade into stillness. Sometimes they seem fine in the morning, and by afternoon they're completely worn out. And it's not just physical, there's an emotional toll too. For someone who's been independent their whole life, needing help with basic tasks can feel embarrassing, even heartbreaking. They might start withdrawing from conversations. Not because they don't care, but because they're just too tired to engage. Frustration creeps in, sadness too. And slowly, you may feel them pulling away, not just from activities, but from life itself. If you've noticed this shift, please know, this is not laziness. This is not giving up. It's the body's natural rhythm as it prepares to slow down. So, what can we do? First, accept their limits with compassion. Don't push them to keep up with how things used to be. Instead, offer gentle encouragement without pressure. If they need to rest, let them. If they can only talk for 5 minutes today, treasure those 5 minutes. If all they want is to sit in silence beside you, be there with them fully. Sometimes the most loving thing we can do is simply slow down with them. And if you've experienced this shift with someone you love, I want you to remember, you're not alone. Many families walk this path, and you're doing more than you realize just by being present. If this message resonates with you, or if you've seen this kind of change in someone close, please consider subscribing to our channel. We're here to walk with you through every stage of this journey with guidance, empathy, and care. Let's keep going together. In the next part, we'll explore sign number 3, changes in memory, thinking, and emotional connection. Let's talk now about something that can be both confusing and heartbreaking to witness. When a loved one begins to mentally withdraw from the world around them, maybe you've noticed it, they repeat the same story 3 times in one conversation. They forget names they used to say without hesitation. Or maybe they seem lost even in their own home. These aren't just senior moments. They can be signs that the brain, like the rest of the body, is starting to slow down. As blood circulation weakens and the brain receives less oxygen, things like memory, focus, and emotional connection begin to fade. It doesn't happen all at once. Sometimes they're clear and sharp, and other times it's like they're somewhere else entirely. And it's not just forgetfulness. You may see shifts in their behavior. A once social, talkative person might now sit in silence during family dinners. Someone who used to laugh easily might seem distant or even irritable. Others grow anxious or detached as if they're trying to protect themselves from a world that's become too overwhelming. And here's the hardest part: you can't always bring them back. You can call their name, remind them of the date, encourage them to join the conversation. But sometimes they just can't follow. And that's not their fault. It's not yours either. When the brain is no longer getting the oxygen it needs, emotional responses change too. They may stop reacting to things that once made them smile or seem indifferent to moments that used to matter. And it hurts to feel like you're slowly losing someone even though they're still here physically. So, what can we do? We meet them where they are. We stop trying to pull them back into our world and instead step gently into theirs. Speak slowly, use a calm, reassuring tone. Avoid overwhelming them with questions or decisions. Sometimes just holding their hand means more than 100 words ever could. This is a time for deep patience and quiet presence. You don't have to fix them, you just have to love them exactly as they are in this moment. If you've seen this kind of change in someone you care about, know this: you are not alone. This journey is one of the hardest, but it's also one of the most sacred. If you found this part helpful, or if it speaks to your experience, please subscribe to the channel and tap the notification bell. We're here to walk with you, to share, to learn, and to support one another every step of the way. In the next section, we'll explore sign number 4, why infections and slow healing might mean more than you think. Stay with us. Let's talk now about something many caregivers notice, but few realize just how serious it can be. It starts small: a cold that lingers longer than usual, a mild UTI that keeps coming back, a small bruise or scratch that never quite heals or seems to reopen just as it's getting better. These may seem like minor issues at first, but when they begin happening over and over again, especially in someone who's always been relatively healthy, they could be signs that the immune system is slowly shutting down. You see, as we age, especially in the final stages of life, our body's ability to fight off infection doesn't just weaken. It slows to a crawl. That means even the smallest bug can hit harder. Antibiotics might not work as quickly or at all. And wounds that once took a few days to heal might now take weeks. Or longer. Why does this happen? It often comes down to poor circulation. When blood flow slows, oxygen and nutrients have a harder time reaching damaged tissues. Without that support, healing takes longer. That's why you might see chronic sores, especially pressure sores, in those who spend more time lying down or sitting. And here's what surprises many people: infections in the elderly don't always look like infections. We're used to seeing fever, chills, or coughing. But for seniors, especially those nearing the end of life, the signs can be more subtle. They may just seem more tired than usual, a little more confused. They might not want to eat, and sometimes those quiet symptoms are the only warnings we get. So, what can we do? Sometimes our first instinct is to treat aggressively. More antibiotics, more hospital visits, more procedures. But here's the truth: at a certain point, the goal shifts from curing to comforting. Rather than pushing their body through more stress, it may be far more helpful to focus on the basics, keeping their skin clean and dry. Offering soft, nourishing meals even if it's just a few bites at a time, staying gently hydrated, and above all, reducing physical and emotional stress. Because deep comfort can do more for their peace than any pill ever could. If your loved one is getting sick more often, or if you've noticed wounds healing more slowly than before, don't ignore it. But also, don't panic. See it as a message from their body, I'm getting tired. Your presence, your gentle care, that's what matters most now. If this message resonates with you, please consider subscribing to our channel and tapping the bell. We're building a space where conversations like these are not only heard but held with kindness. Next, we'll explore sign number 5, the changes in breathing and circulation that signal the body's quiet goodbye. Stay with us. Sometimes the most powerful signals the body gives us are in the way it breathes. If you've ever sat beside an aging parent or grandparent and noticed their breathing change, maybe it felt shallower. Maybe there were long pauses, you might have wondered, is this normal? What you're witnessing might be the body's quiet way of saying, I'm slowing down. One of the most telling signs that a person may be nearing the final stage of life is a significant shift in how they breathe. Their breaths might become shallow, sometimes slow, sometimes irregular. In some cases, you might even hear what's called Cheyne-Stokes respiration, a rhythm of deep, rapid breaths followed by moments of silence. It can be startling to observe, but it's actually a natural part of the body winding down. What causes this? As circulation weakens, oxygen delivery to the lungs and other organs slows. The body is prioritizing its energy, directing blood flow to only the most vital systems. And so, hands, feet, ears, and even the tip of the nose may feel cold to the touch. Skin might appear pale or slightly bluish, especially around the fingertips or lips. These signs aren't just external, they reflect what's happening deep inside. You might notice that your loved one gets out of breath easily, not from walking but just from sitting up, turning in bed, or even talking. Fluid may begin to build up in the lungs, especially if the heart is struggling to keep up. This can lead to coughing, a gurgling sound when breathing, or even a feeling of tightness in the chest. For many, lying flat becomes uncomfortable, so they may start sleeping upright or in a recliner. It's not a preference, it's the body seeking comfort. So, what should we do? Sometimes, when we see these changes, our instinct is to panic, to call for more tests, more machines, more treatments. But the most powerful thing we can offer in this moment is peace. Simple things can help, propping their head up with pillows, using a cool mist humidifier to ease the airways, sitting quietly beside them and just being present. You don't need to fix their breathing. You just need to help them feel safe, supported, and not alone. This phase, though incredibly difficult to witness, can also be one of the most sacred times for connection. A chance to hold a hand, whisper a memory, or simply say, I'm here. If you've noticed these changes in someone you love, don't ignore them, but don't fear them either. They are signs of a journey nearing its close. A journey that deserves to be met with compassion, not panic. If this message resonated with you, I encourage you to subscribe to our channel and tap the notification bell. Here, we share the conversations that matter about aging, love, loss, and how to walk this path with grace. In the next part of this series, we'll talk about loss of bladder or bowel control. Stay with us. Sometimes the most difficult changes to talk about are the ones that involve our most basic human needs. As someone nears the end of life, one of the more private and often unexpected changes is the loss of control over urination or bowel movements. It's something few people are prepared for, and most of us are uncomfortable even mentioning it. But the truth is, it's common, and perhaps more importantly, there's no shame in it. As the body slows down, the muscles that control the bladder and bowels also begin to weaken. The reflexes we've relied on for decades, like the urge to use the bathroom or the ability to hold it, begin to fade. Some people experience urinary incontinence or the inability to use the toilet without help. Others may go through extended periods of constipation or sudden bouts of diarrhea they can't control. And it's not just a physical struggle, there's an emotional weight to it as well. Imagine having lived your whole life independently, only to suddenly need help with something so deeply personal. Feelings of embarrassment, shame, and loss of dignity can surface quickly. Some may withdraw, avoid going out, or even stop seeing loved ones, not because they don't want to, but because they're afraid. Afraid something might happen, afraid of being judged. So how we respond as caregivers, as family, as people who love them makes all the difference. Instead of focusing on the inconvenience, we can shift our focus to kindness and compassion. Use comfortable, high-quality adult briefs that preserve comfort and dignity. Be gentle with hygiene, never rushed or cold, but always with tenderness and respect. And maybe most importantly, let's take the shame out of the conversation. Sometimes all it takes is saying, "It's okay. Your body is going through changes. I'm here with you." And in that moment, they feel seen and loved. If you're witnessing this change in someone close to you, please know you are not alone. Many families are walking this same path. And together, through understanding and kindness, we can make these moments a little easier, a little softer, and a lot more human. Now that we've gone through each of the 6 signs, I want to invite you to pause for a moment, breathe, let what you've heard settle in. Because the truth is what we've just explored isn't easy to hear, but it's important. Let's quickly recap these 6 subtle yet powerful signs that often appear in the final year of life. 1. Significant weight loss, not due to dieting or lifestyle changes, but a deeper sign that the body is no longer processing food or energy the way it once did. 2. Extreme fatigue and weakness, a constant tiredness that rest can't fix because the body is conserving its remaining energy. 3. Cognitive confusion or emotional withdrawal, when memory, communication, and engagement begin to fade quietly. 4. Frequent infections and slow healing as the immune system weakens and the body's ability to bounce back diminishes. 5. Major changes in breathing and circulation, including shallow breathing, cold extremities, and visible changes in skin tone. 6. Loss of bladder or bowel control, a difficult but common shift, often wrapped in emotions like shame or embarrassment. Now, it's so important to understand these signs don't always show up all at once, and sometimes they can be subtle, even easy to miss. But when you notice one, and then another, it's your signal to begin shifting focus. From chasing cures to offering comfort. From pushing for more time to making the most of the time that remains. This knowledge doesn't take away the pain of losing someone you love, but it does give you the gift of being ready. Of understanding what's happening so you're not caught off guard. Of having time to say the things that matter most. Of creating space for dignity, for peace, and for moments that will stay in your heart forever. You're not alone in this journey. So many families have walked this path. And while every story is different, the emotions are shared, the love, the worrying, the grief, the hope. So if you're seeing these signs in someone you care about, let that awareness guide you. Lean into love, into presence, into kindness. Sit beside them, hold their hand, share stories. Play their favorite song, laugh if you can, cry when you need to. Because these are the moments that matter. And when the time comes, you'll know you were there not just physically, but emotionally, fully, lovingly. If this video helped you gain clarity, feel seen, or simply reminded you of what matters most, I hope you'll subscribe to our channel. We're here to walk with you through the most human parts of life with honesty, compassion, and a gentle voice in the noise. Thank you for being here with us, and most importantly, thank you for being there for someone who needs you.